You love your weekly dose of bacon as my podcast, but you need even more bacon. Well, just go over to baconismypodcast.com. You can engage even more with us over there. It's a pathway to our music, extra content, our social media pages. Most importantly, grab yourself some pretty sweet swag and put it all over your body parts. Again, that's baconismypodcast.com. Listen to some tunes, pick up some merch, and tell us, what's your bacon?
Well, cheers, guys. This is my sparkling water.
Cheers to you. Enjoy.
Boom.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to your favorite Monday podcast with the word bacon in the title.
Absolutely your favorite.
Bacon is my podcast. He is Jimmy G.
I am.
I am Mike.
And it's Mike.
And today we have a very special guest.
I'm going to let you say your name this time because you're terrible at this.
I am terrible at this. It's Tiaday.
Yeah! You did it.
We got Tiaday from the world over joining us now. How are you, sir? Sir, dude. Oh, see there. I always got to mess it up somewhere.
He's got to do it
That's
somewhere.
okay.
Sir, dude.
Totally fine. All
Whatever.
good. All of the terms are
All the
neutral.
above.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
So how are you?
Good. Just sipping on the seltzer,
Nice.
joining you with your whiskey here. Enjoyed some LA traffic and the usual.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal out in LA for the traffic. My brother lives out there. Actually, he's working for.
Oh, no way.
He works for a cannabis company out there.
Tight.
And he's the smart one in the family. He doesn't do things like run podcasts. He does I'm an organic chemist and I grow weed. Sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
Turning your hobby into your livelihood. So I've been out there
That's
quite a few
amazing.
times. And my band's been out there a bunch of times too. So the traffic there is it's craziness.
Is it worse
definitely.
than in the city?
It's very similar to like New York City traffic is its own portion of hell.
Yeah, it's its own breed for sure.
It absolutely is. Yeah. So they both suck.
Okay.
But LA traffic is like, for my experience anyway, you can let me know if this is kind of how it is all the time. But every time I've ever been there, traffic is either like 80 miles an hour, bumper to bumper, or stopped bumper to bumper.
Just gridlock, super tight.
there's-
That was basically how it was today, coming back from the airport. So not much success coming in or out towards the airport area anyways. So is what it is. I made my own hell. I'll live with it.
So are you straight like in like LA, like where exactly in LA are you? Like where are you kind of like?
So
Which side?
I'm in kind of like it's Northridge area. It's called Porter Ranch. So it's more in the valley.
Right.
So I'm like an hour ish from the airport, depending on traffic.
Right.
It was an hour.
I was gonna say, so you hit that traffic all the time.
Yep, exactly. So
Awesome.
try not to stray too far from home usually. But yeah, what about you guys?
We're about we're just outside of New York City. We're on Long Island, and so
Nice.
probably about a half hour from the city.
It's like a 40-minute train ride.
And 40-minute train ride could be a
Which is
2-hour
nice.
drive.
Oh yeah,
You know, it's one of those.
Depends on what time of the day it could be.
Depends on the time of the day.
If you
You get
leave
lucky.
like 10
Yeah.
minutes too late or 10 minutes too early, could screw the whole thing up. There's very small windows and pockets of time that you can make it into the city in 30 minutes.
We're also about 10-15 minutes from a beach, though, if you're a beach person. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I am clearly a beach person with my complexion.
You're so beached out.
I am a daylight lover.
Yeah,
all the way.
fully.
That's the Indiana blood.
Yeah, you guys were saying that you're going to be touring through Indiana. I'm actually from there, so to speak.
Oh no way.
Yeah. I grew up. I grew up like in near Purdue University, like Lafayette, which is about an hour south
Lafayette,
of,
nice.
or an hour north of Indianapolis, and
Okay.
like 2 hours south of Chicago. So kind of like right in that little middle area.
Very cool. Yeah.
Where like
Heading through Chicago too.
half the people say dude, and the other half say dude.
with a scoop.
With a scoop. Definitely the scoop is there. Definitely the scoop is there.
Nice.
So when did you move to LA? Because you are not from LA, correct?
Right. Yeah. So I'm from Hawaii, and I was living there on and off through like high school. My home life was weird. I was always like back and forth from LA and then Hawaii. My parents just kind of couldn't decide where they wanted to stick me, so we were just always there and back, and had family there. I get kicked out of school here, get kicked out of school there. So,
right.
So by the end of my like high school career or whatever, I had been in 12 different schools. So basically a school every year.
Wow. That's
So
a record. That's good.
Yeah, it kept things interesting, I guess, which was nice. So, we had lived in like Montana in this middle of nowhere area, like literally off the grid in a cabin in the woods with no cell service and no electricity because during the H1N1 virus, my mom was like, the government is going to kill us. So we got to go hide in a bunker. And this is where we're going to go for the summer and stock shit up full of guns and fuck everyone. So I had to learn how to pump water and fish and all sorts of shit.
That could eventually be handy one day.
You will lead the resistance.
Life skills.
So obviously that never happened, and then we went back to Hawaii. So that was kind of and then ended up out here for college, and so been out here pretty much since. That's how things ended up.
Nice. And you like, as far as you're obviously the singer of the world over, but you literally, musician wise, you do everything. Like you play everything, and you do everything.
Yeah, for the
like you played bass for some people. You play guitar. You sing, of course.
Only thing I can't master is drums.
That's what slate drums and addictive drums. That's what helps us.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Or drummers.
Or drummers.
You know what? They have too many opinions.
They do have a lot of.
You know what? That's not far off. Yep.
We're both in bands as well, so and neither of us are drummers. So that means we have a lot of drummer opinions.
So you know.
Exactly.
What are you guys' bands?
Mike is in a band called Something Heavy. Cool. And it is very aggressive heavy rock.
Yeah, heavy rock metal.
Breakdowns,
stuff like that.
And then I'm in a band called Craving Strange, and we are like Cheap Trick meets Social Distortion.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. sprinkled with Foo Fighters.
I can't scream. You can.
Right. So he can actually sing, and then I can scream. So between the two of us, we're like
half a band
singer.
For sure.
Well, no, he's definitely 3/4. I'm only like a quarter.
Oh, please.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we got to take a quick time out. As you could probably tell by now, Jim and I, we're t-shirt guys, and we're always looking for the most comfortable and best fitting t-shirts possible when it comes to ourselves or our merch. Sometimes they're soft and they unravel in a few washes. Sometimes they're durable, but they feel like sandpaper on your nipples, and it's just not our thing. Well, maybe it's Jim's thing, but it's definitely not my thing. And sometimes you clean your shirts, and from sweating at work or on stage, they just kind of get all funky even after you clean them. Well, Fresh Clean Tees is a solution for all your t-shirt woes. With multiple styles and colors, they keep you looking so fresh and so clean. Go to baconismypodcast.com, click on the sponsors tab, and click on the Fresh Clean Tees link, and start looking great and feeling great without spending a fortune. Again, That's baconismypodcast.com. Click on the sponsors tab, then scroll to that fresh, clean tees link to start looking comfortable and stylish at affordable prices.
Hey everyone, this is Kaylee Wolf, aka Callie Wolf, aka Kylie Wolf of Rivals, and you're here with Bacon is My Podcast, consuming it, eating it, being in it, wiping it on your body, and all that.
But I saw, like, when I was looking into the band and just kind of like looking you up to see if I could pseudo stalking you to see if I could come up with some questions that maybe you hadn't been asked before in your life.
Oh boy.
I found your band mix profile.
Yeah.
I checked that out, and I will say, as a fellow singer, holy shit, you are like, I listened to your singing reel and your screaming reel, and I was so like blown away by it. I'm a singer and I'm also a vocal instructor, and
Awesome.
just hearing how you are able to kind of like not only sing so many different styles, but you actually like embody them so much that it feels natural when you're hearing it. A lot of times, a lot of singers can sing in different styles, but you can tell that they're not that style. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but like if I'm listening to a singer and they're singing something, it's like they can be good, but it can sometimes you can tell that it's not like what their heart's doing. You know, you just like embody those styles, and your voice does these different things that it doesn't do when you do other styles. Like how
Thank
did
you.
your vocal? It's honestly, thank you. I got to hear it, and it was really, really cool. How did you start like your vocal journey? How was that? Is that like, were you just able to do things? Did you just throw yourself in, or did you study a lot? What was your kind of journey there?
Well, thanks again. But basically, I mean, I kind of grew up around the house with my dad singing gospel music and a lot of R&B and soul. That was like his jam. He learned to be like one of the top studio session singers in LA by like trying to imitate Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really like loved listening to that along with him. But then I kind of like try to find metal stuff and show him, and like he'd let me like blast the music on the way to school, and I'd like jam some metal or some weird EDM shit I'd found for him.
Nice.
And he was totally cool with that. So he really like helped me, I think, like expand just like what I was interested in listening to. And I kind of just ended up with like the crowd of emo kids and metal kids, and that's kind of just where I ended up kind of sticking with. And I like to really listen to that genre for a long time. But then, you know, when I was accepted into college in like my senior year, I was kind of thinking maybe I wanted to go to like nursing school, or I don't know, I just wanted to help people somehow. I just thought maybe I could go to a school that had like a minor in music and then also do a major in nursing. But pretty much every school that I had, you know, looked into is like their minor in music department was like opera.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah. It's tough to find one that minors in it. That's anything you
exactly
want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And so after I was like, I had already gotten into the school, like this school called Pepperdine, and I was like, okay, this could be really cool. And then I, you know, last minute I was like, fuck, I think this is probably not it. I think I really need to stick with music. My dad was like, why are you even applying to this? Like, go to music school. There's a school called LA Music Academy that was like rolling admission. Just apply now. And I got in. And so when I went there, that's kind of where I met a lot of my band members now. So I met Ryan, my guitar player there. He was in the same quarter as me. And then I met Juan through mutual friends of Llama Kids, because he went in a couple quarters after me. And a lot of like the original members were founded there. And that's kind of where I got to learn different genres of music, and not just be so like niche pocket metal.
Yeah.
And so it was actually kind of hard to get out of metal, or being labeled as like, oh, she can scream, that's all she does, and only can sing rock. When really I like just naturally, I feel like I have a lot of bluesy singing type, and I really like had a lot of fun in blues class and in gospel class, and then we even had country and American standards. So I think that's kind of where I got to like learn different things to try to make me more well-rounded. And same goes for Ryan on guitar too. Like he's really a jazz fusion kind of player, even though he originally started off only listening to like Animals as Leaders and Periphery and things like that. And then he learned jazz fusion. He was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So he really likes to incorporate like a lot of interesting like jazz chords or blues or things like that into our songwriting. So him and I like really work well together in that songwriting department for the world over.
That's
So.
all, yeah. There's a lot of different styles that are represented in your guys' music, which is really cool. I always appreciate that
Thanks.
when I see a band that's able to kind of like create their own sound by saying a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, like not sounding like your influences, but having those being able to kind of like fit those things in. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do. If you're a metal player and you love jazz, it takes a great amount of skill to kind of like, okay, where can I put in these chords, or where can I put in this time signature tapping rhythm that's going to happen, you know, like, and there's a lot of that in your guys' music, which is really cool to kind of like kind of dive into. I wasn't sure what I wasn't sure what it was going to be when I first kind of started checking you guys out. And it was like, you start hearing it and you're like, wow, where are they going and where are they going to go? And it's cool. It's
cohesive.
It makes you want to listen to the whole song, which is great.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah, you know, we've gotten like some iffy comments about that, like throughout our years just working as bands, saying like, oh, you know, they don't really know like what direction to go in, and you know, like each song seems different, or it's like, what genre is this? And I think that like we could listen to that, or we could also just say like, well, this is kind of how we make our path, is by being different. Because, you know, one of my favorite bands is called Issues, and they're so different because, you know, they are like R&B rock or hip hop rock. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this? But it's now like so interesting that like so many other artists want to be like them. And I think that's, you know, there's only so much along the line that you can follow till it becomes like too cookie cutter, without like just listening to like what feels right when you play it. And even like Ryan, when he was writing out like the structure for our latest song that came out, Bittersweet, he was like, I wonder if I could just sneak in a bar of 5 in there and make it sound like nice and smooth and no one can notice. And even I didn't even notice later until he told me. He's like, oh yeah, there's a bar of 5 in there, but you can't find where it is. And he's always like, I just want to see if I can get any like bar of 5 on the radio at least once in my life, and I'll be happy. And then we got to do that this time around for that single. So he kind of like is like, all right, I can die and be happy now.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's awesome. I don't like that people, you know, I feel like you guys still have an identity, even though you hit those different music types. There's still an identity to it, and I think that a lot of people, I think the whole pigeonholing people into a genre is it's dumb, and it's because people from, you know, further back, they don't have appreciation for all sorts of like different styles and different, like, I feel like our generation kind of dove deeper and went, okay, well, this is cool, I'd like to take influence from this. No, this is cool, I'd like to take. And just because you're not stuck in one genre doesn't mean you can't be your band.
Well, do you think, and do you think that's more of a people that are in charge are trying to sell something, so they're trying to package it easily, versus, because any music listener that I have ever talked to, I've never met a person that only likes one style of music and does not like anything else.
Right. Yeah. I definitely agree with you on that.
I love this. I love this. You put something on, and, you know, like you said in the 7 questions, like, you go into a bar, you pick a Michael Jackson song, right? Just because you're in a rock band doesn't mean you're going to pick a heavy rock song, because you listen to other things, you know? And people do that. So do you think that whole pigeonholing thing is more of a, we're trying to McDonald's you and we're trying to. We need to
create a
find,
brand.
We need
Let's
a
make a
rapper that
package.
fits you so that we can sell you,
Yeah.
and it's not so much on the fan side.
Yeah, like a little bit of both here and there. Because when we were going on tour with, we had this one record called Mountains that we had written like 5 years ago, but we were really just touring off of that, those songs for a really long time. And people who were more kind of in charge that we would send it to were just kind of like, I don't really know how to market this. They think it either sounds like old, or it sounds like it needs to be in a specific direction or something like that, and it doesn't really know how to package it. But then everyone on that, like fan wise, that we would play for it on tour, they would have like an awesome time. We would always like, that's always the one thing that everyone would say about us, is that like our live show is some of the best parts of us. And because we just really have so much fun, we can make it enjoyable for everyone. So and now we've kind of like taken everything with like what industry people have said and then what fans have said, and just kind of try to like run with it and just still do our own thing. The song that we put out, Bittersweet, not long ago, is probably like the last of that era, where we're still kind of rock and roll, but we're starting to slowly transition into heavier music, because our very, very first record that we ever did was just standard heavy hardcore music.
Right.
And even though it wasn't like really us, that was always like a fan favorite. And they're like, when are you going to go back to heavy? And we're like, we'll incorporate that and then also still do our own thing. So, we also want to make people happy, but we also still want to enjoy what we're doing. So, we're going to try to go more in that direction, but still be happy with, the direction that we're going in as well,
Yeah,
and still sound cohesive.
That tightrope, right? Because
Yeah.
it's true, because as soon as you, like, when you write music as a writer, it's like, it's for you, and it's your art, and you're creating something from nothing, and but then as soon as you record it and put it on something and put it out to the masses, now it's a product, quotes,
Right,
now
of
it's a
course.
product, and now you're selling something. I always kind of like, I always told people in my bands, I was like, yeah, we're a band, we're musicians, and we write music for ourselves and everything, and then we're traveling t-shirt salesmen on the road,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the direction we're going, and that balancing act of, we want to make our fans happy, because they're the fans, they're who we're doing this for.
Yeah, and
But
they keep you alive in the business.
exactly.
So
They're the most important part. But your happiness is really the most, like, you don't want to get put in that box where you're only doing things that you think people are wanting you to do.
yeah.
We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I got a quick question for you. Are you dog people? If you know anything about us, you know that here at Bacon Is My Podcast, our dogs are our family members, right? We love to give them a little something extra to look forward to every month, get them excited, and that's why we subscribe to BarkBox. So every single month, Bruce, Bane, and Bruno are treated to 2 brand new durable toys, plus like uniquely curated packs of treats. It keeps them excited, keeps them engaged, and you never have to like go out shopping for stuff. So if you have a 4-legged furry friend that is your favorite, alliteration, we got a special deal for you. Just for being a Bacon Is My Podcast consumer, if you head over to baconismypodcast.com and scroll to the sponsors, click on the BarkBox link, you'll get an extra toy in your first order from BarkBox. So head over, once again, baconismypodcast.com, click on the BarkBox link, and spoil your favorite 4-legged furry friend today. More alliteration. What's your bacon?
This is Johnny B. Bad, the bad man of World Championship Wrestling, and you're consuming Bacon Is My Podcast. And if you don't like it, it's going to be a blessing to teach you a lesson.
I did want to jump back to Bittersweet because when I watched the lyric video for it, I listened to it first, and then when I was watching the lyric video, it was cool because when I was listening to it, I was following the lyrics, and I always try and like find the story, and I really like that aspect of songwriting. And when I was listening to it, I had little hints of things in my head that were like, this is about drinking or drugs or something like that. But then the other part of me was like, it's clearly about like, it's another person. It's not like a relationship in the sense of like, it's a love song, but it's a relationship in the form of like, it's a relationship with something or someone that's equal parts a party and a battle and love and hate and things like that. And then when I saw the lyric video, I was like, son of a bitch, it is about and then I saw or heard another interview with you where you guys were talking about how the Elements album was you guys writing wise personifying elements to kind of give them a humanistic quality. And I thought I was like, shit, that's awesome. Like, that's such a cool way to kind of go into something like that. And as a writer, I was really kind of like inspired by it. I was like, holy shit, like this is a really cool, they did it more than once and they did it for a record and they did it like, this is really cool. Was that just as like a writer question, was that like, did you go into it with that plan or did that kind of organically turn into that like as far as like lyrically, or was that the plan all along, or was it later you were just like, oh, this is just kind of what it is?
That's interesting because it kind of just it fell into place naturally, but it was planned at the same time because there was one song that I had started to write. I was playing bass on I Set to Kill tour. And we had like this kind of a gap break. And so we were just staying at a friend's house. And so I just had a lot of time in my hands and I had this idea. It was just kind of like, I was like, how can I come up with like a cool, like half clave beat and then like kind of sing like a rhythm around it? Because Drake was really popular at the time with the passion fruit. And that was just straight up like half clave bass. Boom, boom, gut. And I was like, that's so cool. Like he's just incorporating a lot of like stuff since he came back from like the Bahamas or wherever he came from, I think, when he did the record. And I was like, I wonder if you could do that in metal somehow. And so I just kind of had the melody for Ocean. And I was like, and trying to do that over a beat. And then Ryan was like, oh, that's sick. Let me try to, metal that up. And so that's kind of where things went. And I just like really felt like it was like a push and pull kind of feel. So I was like, well, what's something like lyrically that pushes and pulls? And we're like, oh, the ocean is always like dragging you in and then dragging you back out. Maybe we do that, like a relationship that is always like keeping you on your toes or, something like that. And so that's kind of where that came from. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this idea of like, maybe we can just start to try to like personify things. And maybe I can kind of like do that as far as I can push it. Maybe, see how much I can milk this. Because at the time we were just planning on doing a full length. And so I had like 12 songs and we were just trying to do like as many things that we could do about like elements. And we had a couple of songs that we ended up having to scrap. And that's kind of when we decided, you know what, we're just going to take the 5 best songs off of this. We'll release it as elements. And then the other, I think it was 6. So then the other 4 that we're going to keep, we'll rework them. And then it sounds kind of like a polar opposite in like tonally from the Elements record, just with how the mix was and everything. So we're like, okay, well, what's the opposite of Elements? Something that's artificial.
Right.
And so we would take those songs that still have some sort of like, personification qualities to them and try to do that. And so originally, our next song that we're going to be releasing in June 11th is called Shallow, but it was originally Shallow Waters. And then the song after that we're going to release is called To Be Human. And that one was called Blackout, just something with just in the dark. And then the last one was going to be Quicksand, which is now going to be called Taking Back Control. So it's just more like changing the names to make it more artificial sounding.
Right.
And all of those we're still trying to like be, even if it wasn't personified in the lyrics itself, it was at least in the title or something like that, with like how it makes you feel like you're being sucked in with a quicksand or you're treading shallow waters because of how people like really just make you feel sometimes with just how do I explain this? So again, shallow. It's pretty self-explanatory, but basically with just how people kind of view you on a very surface level, and really will choose to listen to what other people say about you then versus coming to the source, even if it's your close friend. And I'm sure anyone in general has had a rumor about them at some point in their life and know what that feels like, and being like, wow, this person who I thought had my back kind of just didn't even bother to check in with me. Kind of sucks. And that's kind of what that's about. So that's what's coming out in June 11th.
That's
Nice.
awesome. And as much as the themes that they're picking are incredibly accessible, like you just said, like everybody kind of gets it and has that feeling. The creativity to do that is not normal.
Yeah.
So just so you know, that's not your average. Like that, I was literally like, it was one of those moments where as a writer, I had like that, like, shit, why did I ever think of that? Like, that's a great, what a cool concept. So I just to give you some, just to give you a tip of the hat to that, because you managed to do something ultra creative while also doing something ultra accessible, while also putting in weird jazz chords and making different stuff and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's one thing that you guys do that I think is really impressive is I don't like to listen to a lot of prog stuff.
Sure.
Not that I don't like it. I guess I just don't. It doesn't speak to me the way that other things do. I grew up on like punk rock, metal, rock, things like that. Very, very simple stuff. I like to yell things, and I like to like run into people, and I like to.
Fair enough.
So when I do hear stuff like that also grabs me, I like it twice as much, because I'm like, as a guitar player, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is really hard. This is cool. I'm going to try and do it. But then I'm also looking at it like a singer and a lyricist, and looking at it and going, man, like, to be able to put themes and thoughts and ideas into something and make it complex yet accessible yet rock and roll yet even there's a lot of like pop melody sensibility in a lot of the stuff that you guys do, and then it just explodes with intensity in other parts. Like, you guys do that balancing act really, really well. And I thought that was like one of the coolest things that I noticed about like kind of doing a little deep dive into all your music. And
thanks. Well, again, with that, like, yeah, you really hit the nail on the head.
Pretty smart jumping in there. I was like, yeah, I knew that shit.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It was really hard to kind of come up with like a physical concept on how we can make that like look good with like a lyric video. So that was we're just like, fuck it, we'll just give it away.
Right. Well, your videos are very cool. Your videos are very cool too. Like a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool imagery. I wonder how many instruments were destroyed in the pool. I wonder.
Oh yeah. That was funny. We for Ocean, or what was it, Feral? Yeah, it was Feral that we did that. Yeah. We asked the company that we have an endorsement for. We're like, hey, do you have any dummies, like, or just guitars that just didn't make it? That you just leave it for display, or something you just can't sell anymore. And they're like, actually, yeah, we have a lot of those. We're just gonna toss on out. And we're like, can you just give us some of those just for the shoot? That would be super great, And so they did, and it was awesome, because really they just had the insides gutted. So all it is just the framing of the guitar, or just like a couple broken things. And our bass player actually saved the bass that was broken. He's like, I think I can save this if I drain it out and like really, I just de-string it real fast. It won't warp when I dry it out. And then he got the insides filled. So then, and now it's like a perfectly great bass that works awesome. It's
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's like, you couldn't save the dummy, but I can.
Free bass.
That's awesome.
Exactly. So that's how it got one thing taken away from that. Was a really, really cool part of it. And we're like, we're going to get some sick shots of this floating in the water at least. So it looks like, or we don't give a fuck about instruments.
A lot of cool stuff in that.
Commercial break.
Okay, so in a world of streaming services, where can you find breaking news, live sports, and a mountain of entertainment? Look no further than Paramount Plus. With plans as low as $5.99 per month, you'll gain access to the following: live news from both national and local CBS networks, live sports from the NFL, NCAA, PGA, and much, much more. Your favorite MTV, BET, Nickelodeon, and Comedy Central shows from past and present. New original content like The Stand or Star Trek Picard or SpongeBob's Camp Coral. Smithsonian Channel shows and documentaries. Movies, and much, much more. Go to baconismypodcast.com, click on the sponsors tab, and click on that Paramount Plus link, and open yourself to peak streaming service. That's baconismypodcast.com. Click on the sponsors tab, then on the Paramount Plus link, and dive into thousands of episodes, live TV, original series, and hit movies right now. Do it.
Hi, this is Annie Stoic from Jackknife Stiletto, and you are consuming the Bacon is My Podcast. Back to you, Jimmy and Mike.
A lot of cool imagery in a lot of your videos. Do you guys do you go into a video with a concept ready? Do you plan that out as a band, or do you work with somebody that kind of like puts it together with you?
Up until recently, we kind of had to do things on our own with coming up with ideas. We have let's see, even with Farrell, we at least had a little bit of help with our videographer. He would do a lot of things on the fly. His name is Justin Bernardes, and I really liked working with him because he was also creative. So even though like we would come up with him with like a concept at least, or like a location and kind of like what we would do, he would really like try to fill up all the angles and be like, actually, oh my God, this would be really sick. Can you just stand right here and do this for a second? And that was really, really cool getting to work with him for Farrell and Ocean. He did those two videos. But yeah, we like at least try to come up with the concept. Like with Ocean, I was like, I really want to have like a dancer. And I got my friend Jade, who was like she's like my childhood friend. She ended up being this really great dancer. I was like, girl, could you just kind of see if you can try to dance to this? I don't know, like contemporary, and maybe we can kind of include that in the footage somehow. Because I was really inspired by Paris's video, Anyone Else, and there's kind of like a lot of interpretive dancing in it a little bit with the singer, and I didn't really want to like copy that exactly because the song didn't really fit for that, but that's kind of where I got that idea. And then for our next music video that's going to be coming out for Shallow, we had to do things DIY, just budgeting. We didn't really plan things out correctly. So we're like, oh, okay, well, we got to do a video last minute. So let's just try to come up with something as interesting as possible so that even if the quality isn't as good, it's still interesting enough to watch, So pretty much for this whole record, that's kind of what we did, is try to make it as DIY as possible, but make it still really, really interesting. And so for Shallow, what we did is we're thinking, okay, well, when you think about, rumors and stuff, you think maybe how can you visualize that? And the most, I guess, visual sense of rumors is really like tabloids, right? You think like shitty magazines and all the like dumb shit you see, the like weird ass rumors about celebrities. You're like, what? That's obviously like outlandish, but there it is on the stand that the grocery store. So I was thinking, well, what if we do like a backdrop that's all these shitty magazines, and cross out some names so we don't get in trouble, right, and patch it all together, and maybe like have someone stand there who can kind of just model for us, almost like they're blindfolded, like they're not aware of the rumors that are happening around them. So that way you're still kind of giving that idea that's easy to understand enough about rumors and how it affects you. And let's just fucking toss a bunch of red paint at them. And that's kind of like how each word, when it hits you, it really like affects you. And it's almost like you're getting like, it's like another jab or it's another stab, or it's another cut, and it affects you and you don't know why it's happening. And it's like, or who is doing this, so that's kind of the concept that we went in with it. And then just had a friend with a camera and just do some band shots of us blindfolded while playing, which was hard. And then also the model being attacked by paint, which was really fun. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So, and then at the very end of the video, we have our hands covered in like red paint, kind of just to symbolize that at the end of the day, when you're spreading rumors about people, you're really the one with the blood on your hands because
Right.
you're the one doing the damage. It's not really much about the person that it's being talked about at the end of the day. So,
Cool. I look forward to
It's
seeing
really
that
cool.
video. I liked your promo for it. I saw the promo on your page of the. It had like the tabloid picture that you guys put out. It was like
yeah.
you guys had like the black bars across your face, and it was like audio of the band arguing over what songs are going to happen, and like, all that kind of stuff. It was cool. Very cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I tried to Photoshop something funny enough with that. And I was like, when would the band realize that music is not good for them and they'll quit their day jobs or whatever, something like that.
Right.
I tried
When are
to
they
put
going to
in
get a
there.
real job?
Yeah, when are they going to get a real job? Like, how would a tabloid talk about us, I guess, right? You know? So that was
That's
fun.
awesome. So just kind of switching gears here for a second. Like, so in the past, you've talked about being a local band and you've also toured a lot.
Mhm.
So, and you say that like other areas, so you're in LA, we're in New York, and we kind of hit the same situation. You said that other places are more appreciative of music. So
I think so.
what places do you think are?
I'm more appreciative of, well,
Like, where do you
I don't
feel
know.
love? Like,
Do you think it's
what venues?
Yeah, do you think it's like, do you think there's just places that in general are more appreciative of music, or do you think it's more of the you're never a hit in your own town type of thing?
Yeah, it's so weird that like I definitely agree with the whole you're never a hit in your own town. For some reason, it's just kind of always been like that, and I always just assumed that LA maybe it's just a fickle city. Really bands are a dime a dozen out here. It's even the city doesn't treat bands well. It's just like you have to pay to play anything, in just at least in this area. Unless you're on a tour. So, and then getting local people to come out when, hey, maybe there's a headlining band that's much bigger than you playing nearby, or someone else's buddies playing at the same exact night as you, or the venue's cooler, we're going to go there instead, or that's like 20 minutes away, that's kind of far in LA, like traffic. I've just always tried to like wrap my head around like maybe like why is it that it is that way in LA, and maybe it's just drawing in your own local crowd. Maybe that's relatable for a lot of people in general. But I've always felt like anytime we've gone on tour, the response is always better. Even playing in our own city again, once we've been on a tour package, has been better for whatever reason. I don't know, but I think also though the pandemic has kind of changed that, because I've just noticed like how excited everyone is to see live shows again, and how everyone just like there's festivals being announced like every freaking day and being sold out every freaking day, which is really, really cool for the music industry, I think, because I think
Absolutely.
we didn't realize like how much we were missed, and we all kind of got to get back in on that as well too. And I think it's kind of changed the LA scene a little bit from what I've seen, because I've kind of just my friend who's in a cover band, she does like Latin music. She has been playing at the local Mexican restaurant that is like has the best like tacos and all. So I'll go watch her and eat some great food. And it gets packed there now. And it didn't used to be like that when she first started. And she was just saying like people just want to have like music and be able to dance and eat tacos and have margaritas, and like it doesn't even matter like what we're doing, but we're getting booked as like crazy. It's awesome. So I don't know if that's what's changed, or if for the better, or maybe the LA scene will be a little bit better too. But who knows? I'm kind of looking forward to see and test that theory out.
Have you guys played yet? Have you done a show yet since the pandemic and everything? Have you guys gotten to do one yet?
No, not yet. We're excited though. So
yeah. So what was because we're kind of going through that now, is starting to kind of like plan on, okay, when do we play a show, and how do we start this again? What was it? Do you remember that the first booking email or message or something like that, where you like felt that, because it's been a year, and then you get some kind of message that's like you're booked? Like, was that like a like
yeah, definitely. I mean, even just getting offered Powerman, like like it's not like even the kind of genre that we're in, but we're just thinking like honestly it doesn't even matter, because I think that an interesting lineup, if they're not the same genre, could be a cooler tour sometimes, because
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you know, like we've toured with OTEP and we were like, oh my god, what if we play there and all of our fans start to like throw tomatoes at us because we're just not the same genre at all.
Right.
And then we get there and we're like, these guys freaking love us. We're like, what the fuck, we didn't think we'd fit on with this. Or then we played with, you know, Escape the Fate and Slaves in Europe, and then we're like, these guys don't really like us. I mean, it was still cool. There was still a lot of people that did like us, and maybe it was just sometimes it's hard to know. It's like maybe because you're the very, very opening band, people aren't warmed up enough yet, or compared to when you're direct support. So, or if there's locals, and then in Europe they don't do that really. It's just here's the tour package.
Right.
There's no local openers, that was a culture shock as well.
Yeah, they didn't make anybody sell 500 tickets.
Yeah, right.
They got to fix that business model.
Yeah.
Right? Shouldn't they? I don't know.
Seriously.
Maybe they like the short and sweet. Like, I just want to see who I want to see. But you know, just getting that email and being like, "Do you want to do this tour?" Or like, honestly, like, I'll do anything. I will do any tour. Like, just put me out. Like, just get me out there. and being like, "Is this COVID safe though?" And like thinking like, okay, if this is by September, and we had gotten, you know, the news, I think in like towards the very beginning of the year, just when vaccine rollout was just starting for like 65-year-olds up or whatever. We're like, okay, by the time it's September, vaccine rollout and everything should be really sped up, so that when it comes to September, everything I think will be opened back up. So, and lo and behold, everything is being announced right now. Nothing's being canceled. So I think that's really good.
Well, it looks like they're adding dates to it too. Like, it seems like it started at a certain amount of time, and then you got added more dates and more dates. How like are you guys kind of like, whatever it is, we'll get in the bus and we don't care, just put us out?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our like the first date was originally supposed to be in Colorado, and we're like, ooh, that's kind of a far drive from you know, LA. And we're like, well, you know, maybe we can try to play some like shows on our own on the way there, so we can kind of just at least get some gas money to reimburse ourselves on the way up, you know, whatever. And so we tried to, you know, we booked our own show at Liquid Joe's in Utah, and tickets were already starting to sell and things were doing really well. And Powerman is like out here as well, or at least on the West Coast. And they were like, oh, tickets are already being sold. You know what? Let's just hop in on that. And they were like, you know what? Okay, fine. We'll do an extra date too. And they're like, you know, so we just let them headline that one, and we're just going to do the same and just keep it on the tour. And then they've got some more tours, I think, like happening directly after this that had been canceled during like COVID, that they're going to be finishing up. And so we're going to be hopping on some of those like last legs of those dates as well. Like October 28th and October 30th is like West Coast, Vegas, and then San Diego.
Nice.
So that'll be nice.
So they jumped on your gig. Say they deserve a gnoming.
Exactly. I'm gonna give them a gnome first day of the tour, warm them up. But honestly, it was good, because I was just kind of like, ooh, you know, we're kind of a smaller band. I don't know if we could really headline right away. So they kind of really saved our asses.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
gonna have to make sure that we're there when you guys get out to New York.
Yeah, definitely. We had an opportunity to kind of come closer to New York, but there's a couple weddings happening soon, so weddings always ruin everything.
Well, you guys have played weddings, so
yeah, exactly.
I saw a photo. I saw a photo of you guys dressed to the nines at somebody's wedding.
It was mine. Yeah. I had my guys play my wedding because, you know, they're all musically trained in other genres. So I was like, perfect. Let's just have the guys play some acoustic jams.
Did you sing at your own wedding?
I did. Yeah.
Nice.
Just awesome. one. I didn't want to like do the whole time. It's not all about me, you know. So
I sang at my wedding, so it's all right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. There you go.
I didn't.
Yeah,
want
so it's
to.
our.
I really didn't.
You didn't want to? You got forced?
No. But my wife or fiance at the time, she was like, "No, you have to do this song.
You got to do at least our song or whatever." Yeah.
It's because I didn't want to load in.
Yeah.
I don't want to load in and load out at my own wedding. Like
at your own wedding, yeah.
Fuck that.
You're a singer. You just bring a mic anyway.
No, I had to bring my guitar and shit.
Your guitar, yeah.
I've never sung at a wedding, but I'm officiating a wedding this summer.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm officiating my brother's wedding.
It's great.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Awesome.
for that.
Congrats.
Which is going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
so-
our guitar player is getting married in October, so that's why we're taking that time off.
Gotcha.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
So what we have to do right now,
Yeah, we got to feed the beast.
we have to pay some bills.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, do
And
it.
one of the ways we do that is
Well, you're involved. It's
you're
okay.
no, you're involved. Yeah,
You're part of this.
Oh shit. Okay.
You're not out. You're not out of this yet.
Yeah. Don't you relax.
How do I
an item.
exit?
It's an item called pod decks, and what they are is they're a lot like Cards Against Humanity.
Mhm.
They're just kind of
yeah.
icebreaker questions and situations and
For people that
episodes
have-
ideas.
For people unlike us who have a hard time talking or coming up with things to say, we do have,
Okay.
like you say, verbal diarrhea. We don't ever shut up.
Right.
There are people that struggle a little bit, and this company put out their pod decks to help budding podcasters or interviewers come up with things to talk about, questions to ask, things like that. And
awesome.
they're actually just pretty awesome anyway. Like I've said before, I ordered a couple of them and had them sent to me when I was home with my family over the holidays. And I got them, and we just kind of we all sat at the table and we drank and we just asked each other questions from them. And it was super fun. And it was very much like Cards Against Humanity, a little less,
more PG.
more PG than Cards Against Humanity. It's weird though, because you could get like a question from them that totally is super benign. And then you can get another question that's like, whoa, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's see what that's about. So with that being said, you are going to pick what deck we're going to ask you a question from.
So there is the interview deck. The episode deck is omitted, so don't pick that, please.
Okay. Right.
The interview deck 2. There's the what the heck deck, and also would you rather deck.
Would you rather deck?
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
So we have to remind the peeps that if you go to poddex.com right now, use the promo code BACON, because everything is better with bacon.
Everything.
True.
You can save 10%.
10% off your order. They have cool merch and swag and stuff as well. They're also just a really cool company. Like if you email them, the owner of the company will email you back and talk to you.
He wants to know all about okay, so what do you do?
Yeah, he's like, what's your podcast about? What are you into?
Oh.
And they're super cool. They answer your questions. I mean, it's a cool company. It's a cool product, I guess. When you say, I think product feels like a dirty word to say.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's a cool product. It's cool cards.
Also,
and they got cool shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also I shuffle every time because Jimmy is spastic.
I cannot shuffle.
He can't shuffle despite living in Vegas.
Lived in Vegas. Cannot shuffle.
Ooh.
Cannot shuffle.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a failure.
But what he
Okay,
can
Okay,
do,
I can't surf, and I'm from Hawaii.
Oh, see?
Okay.
All right, good.
There you go.
so what he can do is
I can pour drinks. And
Glide
I
his
can
finger.
glide my finger ever so slightly, and when you say stop, I will stop, and that is your question.
Okay. Stop.
All right, stopping right here. All
Oh
right.
boy.
No, it's a weird question. All right. So, would you rather have very fat arms with skinny legs, or vice versa?
Oh my god. Fat arms, skinny legs.
You'd go fat
Sure.
arm, skinny leg?
Yeah, you're more intimidating, right? This way.
Oh yeah,
versus
you
this
look like
way.
a spinning top.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the question.
Yeah, it's a weird question.
That is
Would you rather have fat arms and skinny legs, or fat legs and skinny arms?
I have fat legs and skinny arms already. So
Oh
I
my
guess
God.
I'd pick the other one.
So you pick the other one, just switch it up.
So
Switch it
I
up.
can
Switch
feel
it
what
up.
it's like to live the other way. What about you, James?
I think I'd go top heavy as well.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
I think I would go, because I've seen dudes that like work their arms out and don't work their legs out.
Yeah,
Oh,
those are
boy.
funny. They're
and,
funny.
and they still look a lot better than the dudes that work their legs out and not their arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I
Right.
agree.
Otherwise, you look like an eggplant if you don't.
Yep. Straight up eggplant.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
I'm not trying to look like an eggplant in this life.
No,
Nah.
Not in this life.
you already got a friend who does.
Woo. Leave yourself alone.
Oh, it's okay. That's what we do here. We self-deprecate.
Yeah. Makes things easier.
Yeah.
That and the whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
For sure.
Don't go away. We'll be back right after these messages.
We know you love your weekly dose of Bacon is My Podcast. But if you need even more bacon, make sure you head over to baconismypodcast.com where you can engage even more with us. It's a pathway to our music, our extra content, social media pages, and most importantly, some pretty awesome swag for you to show off your bacon. Again, that's baconismypodcast.com. Listen to some tunes, pick up some merch, and tell us what your bacon is.
This is Luna Gray, and you've been consuming Bacon is My Podcast.
All right. So we've taken up a lot of your time at this point.
I kind of lost track of time. Yeah.
So, but I'm glad you lost track of time. I'm glad you weren't looking at it going like, is this ever going to end? These guys.
Oh, no.
Seriously.
No, it's been fun chatting with you guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. It's been super fun time talking to you. Thank you for spending your time with us. We are going to wrap it up, but
sounds good.
Before we wrap it up, please tell everybody once again, tell them about the world over, tell them about what you got coming up, tell them about where they can find you guys and where they can hear you, see you, share you, all that.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Well, yeah, again, guys, if you want to come see the world over out with Powerman, we're leaving September 15th through October 6th is the last date on the tour, going from, West Coast to about Midwest. Furthest is Indiana. We'd love to see you guys out at a show. And we always hang out after the show at the merch table if you want to meet us and stuff. So we don't charge VIPs. And if you want to follow us on social media to keep track or find, your date on the tour, we're on Instagram and Facebook. It's The World Over Official. Very simple. Don't get us confused with the news channel because there is a news channel called The World Over. And then Twitter is just The World Over Band, or World Over Band. Spotify, all that good stuff. We'd really love to, have it, especially if you're a Spotify user, use that because our tour dates will show up on Songkick through there. So you'll be notified if we're in your city and you're listening to us at the same time. So that's really, really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it. That's the world over. And thank you for listening and for interviewing us.
Well, and
Me.
Tiaday has a Twitch as well, which
get on it.
That's right. Yeah, my Twitch is Tiaday X. Pretty simple. Just all my syllables are gone. Tiaday X, and I'll be sure to try to stream some more. See if I can play some Dead by Daylight on there.
Nice. Sweet. Mike, where can they find you?
You can find me personally at my own self, Mike, on all of the socials, the Twitters, no TikTok yet though.
No, not yet.
For sure.
I'm scared of it. My band is at Something Heavy Music. Again, all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then you can also check out our music, Bacon is My Passion, on all streaming platforms.
Yeah, that's where this podcast came from us creating a band to do stuff while we were having an off day from our bands and creating a separate thing.
And then we talked for a while before this. Maybe we should just put a camera on us.
Yeah. And we like interesting people. I am Jimmy G. You can find me on Jimmy G's Shoes. It's pictures of my feet and places on different pages. That's what it is on Instagram. You can also find my band Craving Strange, cravingstrange.net. All of our socials are linked on there. If you just look for us, we'll be there. And what else do we have going on? You can find I was going to say Bacon is My Passion, but you already said it.
Yeah.
So
I stepped on your toes there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Didn't mean
to
steal your thunder.
Sometimes that's what we do.
But it's not about
There's
us.
no thunder. It's just the roar. And
it's not about us here.
It's never about us. It's never about us. Today, it's about the world over.
And thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Say your name.
Tadia.
No.
Tiaday.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
I needed to mess it up at least once.
Yeah, it's part of it. We do very much appreciate you hanging out with us. And everybody, please go check out The World Over. check out their music, share them, spread the love.
Buy some merch.
Buy some merch. They got cool merch. They got music that's out now. They got great videos. Check out the tour dates. They're on tour with Powerman 5000. By the time you hear this, they will be on tour.
No,
not quite. Almost on tour.
Almost
by the time you hear this. And go see them. And when they come to New York, hopefully when they come to New York, we can see you, and we'll chat, and we'll say hello at the merch booth, and we'll buy you a seltzer if you want a seltzer. We'll buy you a drink if you drink.
Put you guys on the guest list.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Awesome. Sweet. Thank you so much. And everybody, it's important to always, always, always ask yourself.
Hashtag, is that the hashtag? What's your bacon?
Yeah, what's your bacon?